These are the 3 Town Hall 12 attack strategies you need to use for 3 stars. Let's start with the Zap Witch. A very simple way of looking at this is by using the lightning spells and earthquake against 2 different Inferno towers on opposite sides. This is where you'll bring the 4 lightning and 1 earthquake method in order to easily remove them. Try to use the lightning spells around the Infernos so you can also remove other defenses around there, which just makes it a lot better for your witches in general. You then want to go in with your witches in the middle, in between the 2, against the 3rd Inferno Tower, the Eagle Artillery, and the Town Hall. If all of that is on the left or right side only, you might want to use a wall breakers or super wall breakers to break open that adjacent compartment to make it easier and not to have any problems with your witches as you send them in. So, when you're using this, you're going to start off with your Zap Quake, 4 lightning, 1 earthquake. Now, the other thing that you will want to consider is then going ahead and using your tanks. This is going to be either golems, ice golems, or super giants as you enter into the base. So you're going to use them by spreading them out. Now, of course, the other thing that you will want to do is then send in your log launcher or wall wrecker, whichever you have available, which I would prefer the log launcher over the wall wrecker any day, as you can send in your witches and your heroes into the base. Now, this attack doesn't really have a lot going for it. All you have to really do is let your witches kind of spam. The skeletons will kind of do their own thing as well. As the heroes work themselves in and some of the witches and of course your heroes in the core, use a Grand Warren ability. This is really going to provide a lot of support for everything in there. It's going to make them survive a little bit longer. Your log launcher is going to deal a lot of damage from a distance, so it's going to be a really easy time for them to move through. Of course, the other thing that you've got is Rage and whatever you have in the CC. Usually, I want to save that Rage spell for the Town Hall. This is going to have in your clan castle be either an Ice Golem and P.E.K.K.A. or double Yeti. I personally like the Ice Golem P.E.K.K.A. since it really has so much HP, and pretty much you get a free freeze and a ton of damage without even needing to use a Rage. That will just allow you to easily remove the Town Hall, and then the rest of the base is history, where you can get a simple 3-star. Now, of course, what is also easy is using my creator code, Corrupt. It really supports the channel, and it's greatly appreciated, my friends. Of course, we can't have this video without a Queen Charge Hybrid. It's a very simple attack strategy to break down, and I even broke this down in depth in a previous video, which I would highly recommend checking out. The link to it is in the description below for you guys to watch after this one. Now, of course, the first thing you'll do is with the Queen Charge. That Queen Charge is going to try and get pathing, remove the enemy clan castle. So you want to clear one side of the base with your Queen Charge. The other side of the funnel is going to be done with the siege machine of your choice. The siege barrack is really good on narrow and more rectangular bases, while the flame flinger is better on wider and more thicker bases than really anything else. It just provides you with a lot of support and allows your hybrid to go through in between the 2 funnels depending on the base. So when you set this attack up, you're going to need to funnel your queen. It should be pretty obvious since you're using a Queen Charge. Baby dragons and sneaky goblins are going to be your best bet. Baby dragons are great on any building, just make sure to bring a balloon, but then also sneaky goblins are great on resource buildings, and there's really no downside to that. Of course, as you enter your queen in, try to protect her with rage spells if she's taking too much fire or you know that she's going to be taking a lot of damage. And of course, dealing with the enemy clan castle, make sure you drop a poison and you should be able to easily deal with that with no problem. The other side of the funnel is going to be done with your king and the siege machine of your choice. Whether that is the flame flinger to remove something like an inferno compartment, or just clearing the outside the base with the siege barrack. It really depends on the base that you're hitting, and of course, how much value you can get from it. Lastly, the hybrid to be sandwiched in between. If you're not going into it and you were able to remove it with the Queen Charge, or you're going to be hitting it a little bit later on, or if it's in the core, use the first heal spell, then use your Grand Warren ability, whether that's right after or right in the core, and then use your final heal spell in the back end. All in all, you really just want to find a combination that suits you, that can keep your miners and hog riders alive. That should be the main thing that you really need to look out for. And of course, the Queen Charge Lalo is the best Lavaloon attack strategy right now in the game. Pretty much, the main gist of it, of how you are to break down a base, is to create a wedge in there. You mainly want to make sure that what you're doing is clearing out the enemy CC and the enemy queen. Those are your two primary objectives, and then your third one is, of course, getting pathing and any high value defenses, such as the Eagle Artillery, Infernos, any air defenses. Despite them not being high value, they're kind of high value to a Lalo, and it helps with pathing, but of course, other things such as the Town Hall if possible. But if not, you can still Lavaloon into the Town Hall. You will want to save your Grand Warden ability for it. So otherwise, you're creating a C shape for your Lavaloon portion to easily move across. So similar to the hybrid, you're going to funnel her. Baby dragons, sneaky golems are really good, but this is where you can actually use the king to funnel the queen. Since you're not really sending it in with something like a hybrid and trying to sandwich your Lalo in between. No, you're going to use that king to funnel your queen to go in the right direction. Make sure you have him placed further away though, just so the healers don't switch onto the king. Now the other thing that you will need to do is just try to keep those rage spells and keep using those in order to make sure that that queen stays alive. But don't use them all willy-nilly. Just use them in areas that you're going to need it. You'll get the most value from it, and you'll keep your queen alive against stuff such as those high value defenses, and of course, the enemy queen and CC. After your queen charge has gotten a fairly good portion of the base, you'll then send your Lavaloon portion in. The Lavaloon portion is pretty much going to usually use a surgical format, but you don't necessarily need to follow that. Just drop in some groups of balloons around with at least 1 or 2 lava hounds, and you should be completely fine. Think of it like a river. Pretty much what you're doing is you're creating a stronger sort of river to move yourself across the base. That's how you want to treat your Lalo. So when you're using that, you're going to use the haste spells to get to those high value defenses, specifically splash buildings. Stuff such as the Eagle Artillery, the Inferno Towers, Wizard Towers are all the buildings that you should get to sooner rather than later. This is where you'll use that Grand Warden ability to protect all of your balloons from the either damage from other buildings or the Town Hall's death bomb. So that is something that you will need to consider. And then, of course, you've got minions on the back end for cleanup, or just minions in general right behind the Lalo to easily clean up so you don't get a time fail. Now, while this is in a different style, hopefully this video finds you well in terms of understanding these 3 attacks. Hopefully I put enough editing to make sure that this video was pretty solid. If you guys want to check out a previous video of mine of the top 3 Town Hall 12 attacks last month, I'd highly check out this video right here. Also check out my recent hybrid attack if you haven't checked that out yet. And of course, YouTube says that this is the best video for you, so I'd highly recommend checking that out. Otherwise, I'll be catching you in the next video. Corrupt, signing out.